Welcome boys. Okay, in this video we're going to be working on our '03 Lincoln Town Car. So we're going to be changing the thermostat and the coolant. I've already got the cap off. We'll go ahead and take the engine cover off in a minute. But first things first, we're going to start draining the coolant. That way, while it's doing that, we can work on taking the cover and the thermostat housing off to replace that. So go ahead and dive right in. Now underneath the driver's side, if we go under, we're going to find our petcock for the radiator. Now I don't have to jack this car up, I'm thin enough to sit under it. You guys aren't. They have to jack it up. So there's our petcock. And with the ratchet in the turn off position, with a 19mm, I should be able to bust this loose. Alright, and once I think I can turn it by hand, I'll do that, and then get the bucket underneath to collect it. Yeah. Alright. I think right about here should do. Stick my arm back and loosen it the rest of the way, or as much of the way as I need to. There we go. Alright, so while that thing's taking a squeege, we got that cap off. Go ahead and bust that off, and then get to our thermostat. So with our 1/4 inch drive here, that comes out. Get the cover out of the way. And here's the two bolts that hold on our thermostat housing. I believe those are going to be 10mm. So this procedure is almost the same as the Crown Vic. I already did it in the Crown Vic, so the Crown Vic doesn't have this big funny plastical kajigger here, so I'm going to try to finagle this off. I should be able to get it off even with this thing in the way. Okay, so 10mm will do her. It's a wee bit stiffer than I thought it would be. Alright, use the ratchet, I reckon. They're gonna force me against my will. There we go. Alright. Now I can use the impact driver. Boy, that's one mighty long bolt. I think I remember that from the Crown Vic, actually. I was like, good God, man. Alright, hopefully this doesn't make a mess. I'm assuming we've got enough draining out there. Okay, I got this guy on standby, but looks like it's more or less stopped. Just in time. Now, this thing isn't showing any symptoms of needing the thermostat replaced or the coolant, but I don't know how old the coolant is. I don't know how long the thermostat's been in there. So as a preventative maintenance measure, I am going to go ahead and change it. Okay. Well, she looks good. Looks clean. Okay then. Well, that'll be easy. Looks clean. So now that that's stopped pouring out, we'll go ahead and tighten up the petcock. Put our new thermostat in, which I've got over there, and then we'll put our coolant and our distilled water. I actually use concentrate and just mix it. It's cheaper that way, because you're getting 2 gallons of coolant, whereas if you just buy the 50/50 stuff, you're paying, in order to get 2 gallons, you'd be paying like twice as more. So don't ever do that. That's a pro tip. But I guess you guys do you. Alrighty. So here's our old one. It's our new one. Admittedly, I couldn't get a Motorcraft one. They were out of stock. So this one's called Motorrad. So we'll see if we have a catastrophic failure one day or not. And then I'll say, don't buy this freaking Motorrad Ultrastat. I wanted Motorcraft, but Motorrad kind of sounds like Motorcraft, right? Maybe, if you squint hard enough. Okay. So, they do look ever so slightly different as well. Spring design, but they're about roughly the same dimension. Close enough for government work. And boy, do I have a lot of mosquitoes swarming me. Hate this freaking house. I hate all these damn mosquitoes. So the O-ring looks like it'll fit on nicely. So drop that in. Alright, that will fit. So before we do that, go ahead and add, I'm going to add this, fill this up with coolant first, and then pour the rest in here next. Alright, so we got our little funnel and our distilled water. I suppose you could use it from a garden hose, but, you know, I guess the coolant itself probably has anti-corrosion additives in there, but I'm not a big fan of minerals and other things that don't need to be in the coolant in my cooling system, so I use distilled water. It's cheap. Get it at the laundry aisle at your store. There's no reason not to use it, as far as I'm concerned. That's about half the gallon. There's about half a gallon of this in there now. Alright, that seems to be about as much as I can get in it. That way, anyway. Yeah, it seems to be settled around there. Okay. Alright, torque it down the rest of the way by hand. And it was pretty tight, so we're just going to go pretty tight again, without knowing the actual torque spec. We can always pressure test the system later if we need to. I don't anticipate needing to do that. Alright. Now the rest of it we'll just go ahead and dump right in there. Use the big dude for that. A big weighted funnel. Say we're full, but we'll go ahead and start it. and then the air should be bled out with the water pump, moving it around and then it burping itself out of here. Alright, boys, so it looks like we went down, not really much at all. I did go ahead and squeezing it. I can feel the water in there. So I think we're good. Temperature's not super hot to where the thermostat's going to open yet. But I went ahead and drove it around just a scotch with this cap off. That way any air can be bled out, presumably with the water pump and all the motion sloshing it around, it'll find its way up and out of here. All of my cars have bleeder valves. This one does not. Like my Corvette and Camaro have bleeder valves. BMW has one. This one doesn't, the Neon doesn't, and my Crown Vic also does not have one that I can locate, but I would say that is a successful coolant change and thermostat replacement. But just to confirm, you always get under, check for leaks. I see none, other than what's coming off the exhaust or any place else with the storms. So, alright, that's how you change the thermostat on your 03 town car. Presumably same procedure for the Mercury Grand Marquis, and definitely the same procedure for your Crown Vic. So, thanks for watching, boys. Peace.